I took my colleagues out for a drink at the bar. Just as the night was getting started, I realized my balance was embarrassingly low. In a panic, I marched over to a handsome guy seated in a private booth. "Can you cover the bill for now? I'll transfer it back to you later." The man gave me a look of feigned indifference. "Miss, do we even know each other?" Without hesitation, I snatched the wine glass from his hand and said, "Nope. But maybe ask your bodyguard how many times I've bailed you out. This is just a little bar tab karma. Fair exchange, no?" The man looked utterly confused, but his bodyguard raised a hand to cover his face and sighed. "Sir, it's true. Every time you get drunk, you don't let anyone near you. Except her. I've had to call her multiple times, begging her to come help take you home." Everyone sitting around the man, whose name, I later learned, was Brett, perked up their ears in disbelief. "No way. Bro, Brett turns into a demon when he drinks, nobody survives close contact. And now you're saying there's an exception?" I remember that one time when he was drunk and I tried to help him to his room, he snapped my arm like a twig. Same here. Everyone says Bro Brett becomes the reincarnation of a death god when he drinks. I was young and stupid once, thought I could outdrink him and still get close. Ended up with broken bones and 2 months in the hospital. Doctors said it's an extreme self-defense mechanism. When he's drunk, he can't trust anyone, so he attacks on instinct. But this woman, what's so special about her? How did she become the one person he lets near him? I don't buy it, unless she gives us a live demo right now. I raised an eyebrow, pulled out my phone and flashed a QR code. "Sure. Send me $500 and I'll give you a show." Someone actually whipped out their phone and transferred me the money. Ding. Payment received. I pointed toward the counter. "Let me go settle the bill first. Once you get him drunk, come find me." Everyone in the booth began hooting and laughing. Everyone except Brett. He narrowed his eyes, looking at me dangerously. But I wasn't the least bit afraid. I'd seen all the sides of him when he was wasted. I had photos of him hugging a toilet in his sleep. Several, in fact. Don't be fooled by how refined and noble he looked now, lounging in that velvet booth like some upper-class gentleman. In front of me? He had no image left to maintain. After paying the bill, my colleagues headed home. But I made my way back to Brett's booth. After all, I had 500 yuan to earn, and I owed them a performance. Sure enough, Brett's friends were trying every trick in the book to get him drunk. But Brett didn't drink a drop. Instead, he grabbed my wrist and hauled me outside. He shoved me into his luxury Maybach. Slam. The door shut behind me like a thunderclap. He looked like a shaken soda bottle finally opened. I rubbed my nose. "It's not like I asked you to only trust me when you're drunk. You think it's not a hassle for me too?" To explain how this all began, we'd have to go back half a year. That night, I was working late and saw a man lying sprawled out on the side of the road, arms and legs akimbo, using a shared bike as a blanket. It was too ridiculous not to document. Surfer girl instincts kicked in. I pulled out my phone to film it. But as I got closer, damn. That was a really good-looking face. He was obviously drunk, completely reeking of alcohol, and mumbling about being thirsty. I dug out my personal water bottle and poured him a cup. To my surprise, he drank 3 big gulps like a well-behaved child. I tried to wake him up. "Hey, you can't just sleep on the sidewalk. Where's your phone? I'll call someone to come pick you up." He ignored me entirely, snoozing away like it was his king-sized bed. Left with no choice, I started rummaging through his pants pocket. Don't judge me. I was just looking for his phone. Those long, lean legs of his could qualify him for the entertainment industry. I finally found the phone, used Face Unlock, and called the first person on his WeChat list. The moment the video connected, I pointed the camera right at the drunk guy's face. "Hey, the owner of this phone is passed out on the street. If you're his friend, come pick him up ASAP." The man on the other end didn't even ask for a location, he just panicked and shouted, "Get 5 meters away from the young master. Now." I thought he was just being paranoid. Maybe he thought I was trying to take advantage of a handsome stranger. I scoffed, "Relax. I have zero interest in drunk guys. I'll send you my location. Come get him." But the guy on the phone barked even louder, "Don't take my warning lightly, unless you have a death wish." Pfft, nut job. I ended the video call and sat down beside the sleeping man to keep watch. And then, he used my thigh as a pillow and fell into the deepest, sweetest sleep under the moonlight. 10 minutes later, the guy from the video finally arrived, and the look on his face said it all, total shock. I raised both hands and swore, "Look for yourself. I didn't lay a single inappropriate finger on your friend." Right then, the man shifted positions. Not only did he rest his head more comfortably on my lap, but he even wrapped his arms around my waist like I was his personal body pillow. I tried pulling his arms away. No use. I even tugged on his ear. "Hey, wake up. Your friend's here, let go of me and go home." But he slept through it like a pig. I looked desperately at the bodyguard. Come help me. I can't pry him off. The guy just stood 5 meters away and didn't move an inch. I was livid. Why are you just standing there? He answered seriously, because I don't want to die. What the hell is that supposed to mean? The man finally explained, he wasn't some friend of the drunk guy. He was his bodyguard. A few moments later, the bodyguard drove the car over and parked it exactly 5 meters away. You'll have to figure out how to get the young master into the car yourself, he said. Are you kidding me? Your young master, not mine. I did you a favor by calling, and now you're pushing your luck. But no matter how much I argued, the bodyguard refused to move any closer. He just stood there watching, arms folded. I was furious. Dragging him toward the car felt like hauling a dead pig, and I made sure to take out every ounce of my frustration on this drunk bastard. Perhaps the bodyguard was worried I'd beat him black and blue. He finally looked like he might step in to help. But just then, the man who'd been snoring like the dead sprang to life. In one swift motion, he pulled a Swiss Army knife from his waistband and shoved me behind him. Then, without hesitation, he lunged at the bodyguard with the knife. The speed. The precision. The ferocity. If the bodyguard hadn't jumped out of the way in time, I'm pretty sure it would have turned into a crime scene. I was stunned, eyes wide, brain full of question marks. The bodyguard quickly retreated to his 5-meter safety zone and gave me an awkward grin. Now you get why I didn't help. When he's drunk, no one can get near him. His aggression is off the charts. I instinctively reached up to touch my neck. Yeah. I should probably run. But the drunk man calmly slid the knife back into its sheath and rested his big head on my shoulder, and continued sleeping. Seriously? The bodyguard looked just as confused. You're the only person I've ever seen get this close to him while he's drunk. Are you blind? He's the one leaning on me. Tears of frustration welled up in my eyes. So, what now? The bodyguard replied, you'll have to help get him in the car, and drive him home. Can you drive? I mean, more or less. Still suspicious, I narrowed my eyes. You two aren't pulling some kind of trick on me, are you? Why is it only I can get near him? What about his parents? They passed away long ago, he said. His only remaining family is his grandfather, and even he can't get close to him when he's drunk. This was starting to feel supernatural. In the end, I had no choice but to summon all my brute strength to hoist the 6 feet 1 inch giant of a man into the car and drive him home myself. Afterwards, the bodyguard added me on WeChat. Just in case we need your help again, he said. Get lost. Not a chance. Then he transferred me $5,000. Immediately, I smiled sweetly. Pleasure doing business. Anytime you need me, just say the word. But remember, same rate every time. Half a month later, one evening, I received another transfer from the bodyguard. $5,000 again. Miss Jenny, it's urgent. Your help is needed. Location sent. Following the pin, I arrived at the most luxurious private club in Haicheng. When I pushed open the private room door, I saw several high-profile figures, the kind you only see on TV, sprawled unconscious on the floor. The ambulance arrived shortly after and hauled them all away. Only one man remained, Brett. Sitting in the corner, back against the wall, gripping a Swiss Army knife. His eyes were bloodshot. He looked like someone who'd kill gods or demons if they dared get too close. Honestly? Even I was too scared to approach. My legs shook like leaves. I quickly refunded the money and stammered, I can't do this. I'm out. Without missing a beat, the bodyguard transferred me $50,000. I understand. This is a special rate. Bonus included. That's not what I meant. But, $50,000? I was just a low-level office worker. How could I resist that kind of temptation? So I wobbled toward Brett, big eyes shimmering like a good little lamb, and carefully tapped his shoulder. Please don't kill me. Put the knife down, okay? What I didn't expect was that he actually listened. He blinked at me in a daze for a few seconds, then quietly put the knife away. Then he swayed. And fell directly into my arms. Oh. My God. He was heavy. My knees gave out, and we both crashed to the floor. Thankfully, he twisted mid-fall and used his own body to cushion me. I landed hard, right on top of him. Outside the car, the bodyguard was chattering away to Brett. He had his phone out, showing him videos, probably the footage from previous emergency rescues I'd done. I quietly rolled down the window, just enough to eavesdrop. Sir, this is the situation, the bodyguard said. I didn't mean to keep it from you. It's just, I haven't figured out how you and Miss Jenny are connected. I don't understand how, even in your most guarded, unconscious state, you trust her this much. I was waiting to report back until I'd confirmed everything. Later, Brett opened the car door and climbed inside. I quickly acted innocent, head down, pretending to play on my phone like I hadn't been listening in. Truth be told, I'd been racking my brain for months, over and over, but I couldn't recall any past interaction with Brett. He was Haiching's golden prince, heir to a powerful family with assets in the billions. And I was, just a corporate peasant from a small town, lucky enough to get into college and stay in the city to work. If we had some life-changing encounter in the past, it had to be from a previous life. Brett sat there, his expression dark and brooding. I figured this was my chance to flee. Well, haha, Mr. Brett, if there's nothing else, I'll just be on my way. Bye. No need to see me out. I reached for the door, but Brett was faster, he grabbed my wrist. Until we figure this out, you're staying by my side. Why? Won't your girlfriend mind? I don't, he paused. She's abroad. Oh, I get it. Classic white moonlight trope, huh? My brain spun. Wait, do I look like her? Is that it? I resemble your white moonlight, so when you're drunk, you confuse me for her, that's why you let me near you, right? Makes perfect sense now. I feel much better. Brett's expression darkened. Shut up. You don't look like her. Then he added, she can't get near me either. Wait, what? Even your white moonlight can't approach you when you're drunk? Some moonlight she is. You clearly don't love her enough. His face turned even gloomier. He glared at me like I was a walking headache. Why do you talk so much? I shrugged. Blame my mom. She ate too many pistachios while pregnant. The bodyguard, already in the driver's seat, couldn't hold back his laughter. Brett didn't even offer me a smile. Instead, he turned to the bodyguard and said coldly, transfer her money. Tell her to shut up. Ding dong. The bodyguard transferred me $10,000. Well, that did it. I immediately mimed zipping my lips shut. Satisfying clients, that's the golden rule of any good corporate underling. But staying in his villa? Absolutely not. As soon as the car pulled into the courtyard, I crossed my arms and declared, I'm not sleeping with you. Not even for extra pay. We Gen Z girls have principles when it comes to making money. Brett got out of the car and gave me a glare so full of contempt it could peel paint. Keep dreaming. You're staying in the guest room, as a maid. From now on, your only job is to take care of me when I'm drunk. And just like that, I, bright-eyed and unwilling, moved into the CEO's villa. Well, into the guest room. I didn't have a choice. No room for negotiation. This tyrannical drunk forced me into being his designated alcohol wrangler. If it weren't for the $10,000 per day he was transferring, I wouldn't have lasted a single night. Every day, I prayed. Begged the heavens. Pleaded with the gods. Please. Let Brett's beloved white moonlight come home from abroad. Once she did, I'd be free, right? I mean, what woman could tolerate a gorgeous maid living under the same roof as her man? Rumors were already flying. People said Brett was keeping a mistress, tucked away in his golden cage, a girl so special he broke all his rules for her. They said that after a few rounds of drinks, he'd always call her to pick him up. As if I was somebody in his heart. Please. By day I was a wage slave to capitalism, and by night I served a drunken overlord. I was exhausted. Just as my resentment was about to reach nuclear levels, his white moonlight finally came home. But when she rushed into the villa and saw me casually lounging on the living room sofa, munching imported fruit like it was no big deal. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. I sat there cross-legged, waiting for her to glare at me, call me names, kick me out. Instead, she stumbled back a few steps, nearly tripping, right into Brett, who had just entered with a face as dark as thunder. She went pale. Hey Brett, who is she? She asked, her voice trembling. Brett narrowed his eyes, looking down at her from above. Feeling guilty? Why's your face so pale? And no. I just got off a long flight. Jet lag, I guess. I'm tired. After a pause, Brett said, I'll have the driver take you home. Get some rest. Yeah. Okay. And just like that, white moonlight ran off, all wide-eyed and flustered. Not even a fight. What a letdown. At the door, she suddenly turned back. Oh, Brett, Grandpa said, now that I'm back, we need to set a date for the wedding. No more delays. Brett didn't reply. His tall frame blocked my view of her entirely. I wanted to shove his annoying body aside and march over to her. Girl, this is your moment. You're the main character here, he's your fiancé. Kick me out already, will you? But instead, Brett grabbed the back of my collar like I was a misbehaving kitten, and dragged me out to the car. Hey, where are we going now? To a dinner party. Social obligations. Might get drunk again. Ugh. You seriously can't drink less? Haven't you heard alcohol's bad for your health? You care about me now. In your dreams. I'm just looking out for myself. Ever thought about getting therapy? Or trusting someone else for once? He tossed a fashion lookbook onto my lap. Stop talking. Pick one. I flipped it open, gorgeous gowns, the kind actresses wear on red carpets. My eyes sparkled. My mouth watered. Then I slammed the book shut. Seriously? Since when can broke-wage slaves like me afford to look at things like this? Pick one. You're wearing it tonight. Fine. But can't I pick two? What if someone spills wine on me? Honestly, I think three would be safest. Brett looked at me like I was the dumbest creature alive. No one would dare mess with my woman. Excuse you. Correction, your drunk handler maid. Brett, the dog of a man, turned out to be a liar. He said no one would touch me. Yet by the end of the night, someone had dumped an entire glass of red wine on my face. I blame my own crow's mouth. Jinxed myself. But I wasn't one to suffer in silence. I yanked her hair like my life depended on it, and refused to let go. My life motto? Ditch the dignity. Embrace the chaos. Reject emotional labor. Go full psycho if needed. I wasn't aiming for grace or class. I wasn't trying to marry into wealth. I was just a hired hand doing my job. After 3 months of being Brett's glorified leash holder, I was full of pent-up rage and had no outlet. Whoever crossed me, they were gonna get it. When Brett arrived at the scene, I was already straddling the noblewoman, fists full of her expensive hair. To be fair, she had mine too. I made a mental note to shave my head tomorrow. Never reveal the same weakness twice. But before he could yell at me, I took the initiative and tattled first. She dumped wine on my gown. You promised no one would bully me. It's my first time wearing such a beautiful dress, and I only had one. Brett replied, there are 2 more in the car. Really? Really? I'll take you to change. And what if the other 2 aren't as pretty as this one? I'll buy every dress in the book. Now that was more like it. I huffed, feeling a little better. Make her let go of my hair first. Then I'll let go. Brett squinted coldly at the other girl. Let go. She immediately burst into tears. But I'm your sister. Your real sister. Wait. What? I was fighting Brett's sister? Oh. Crap. I dropped her hair, scrambled to my feet, and dug behind Brett for cover. I peeked out from behind Brett's broad frame, eyes pleading for mercy. Hey, be reasonable, alright? I surrender. Brett ruffled my messy hair, hard. She's just a worthless cousin. Don't be scared. A worthless cousin? Oh. That's fine, then. Everyone has a few terrible relatives. I straightened my back with pride, head held high. She started it. I was just defending myself. I tugged on Brett's arm. Come on, take me to see the other 2 dresses you promised. If you lied to me, I swear, next time you're drunk and dancing naked in public, I won't drag you home. I'll let you make a full fool of yourself. By the way, what's wrong with your cousin? I didn't provoke her. Why did she pour wine on me? She even said I have no title, no place in your life, that I'm shameless and low. Excuse me, I have a role. Why shouldn't I live in your house? Brett let me drag him along while I ranted, saying nothing, until he finally asked, and what is your role? Your maid, of course. Brett. He pulled his arm away with a snort. You sound oddly proud of that. Obviously. We working-class people earn clean money with our own hands, no stealing, no scamming. Why should we feel inferior? Brett chuckled and walked me over to his luxury Maybach. He popped open the trunk. Inside were 2 more stunning evening gowns. My mood instantly did a 180. My eyes sparkled. Wow. You do lack confidence. You say no one would dare mess with me, but look at you, already prepared backup outfits. Brett's face darkened. Keep yapping and I'll take them back. But I wasn't about to back down. Thinking of how humiliated I'd been earlier, I rolled my eyes. You failed to protect me, and now I can't even talk about it. If a boss can't even protect his employees, how can he expect them to go all in for him? That got him. He lowered his gaze and, for once, spoke with real sincerity. You're right. I'll protect you properly from now on. I promise. Only an idiot would believe Brett's promises. No sooner had I changed into a brand new dress and walked back toward the ballroom than. Boom. Ambush. His grandfather wanted to see me. Of course Brett wasn't around. Someone had stopped him outside the hall, leaving me alone and exposed. I was ushered into a private reception room. And there she was, Brett's annoying cousin. She was already whining to the old man. Grandpa, it's her. That shameless mistress. Who knows what kind of voodoo she used on cousin Brett? He's supposed to be marrying Melissa, and this tramp still refuses to leave. I marched up and slapped her. Hard. Call me a mistress one more time, I dare you. Smack. The slap echoed through the room. She looked stunned. You hit me? I'm going to kill you. Good luck with that. We'll see who kills who. I'd never lost a fight in my life. Just then, the old man slammed his cane on the ground. That's enough. Both of you, stop. Emma, get out. But Grandpa. I said, out. Emma gave me one last venomous glare. You better watch your back. I won't let this go. Bring it on, I said, rolling up my sleeves. A fortune teller once told me I was born under a hard star. He also said if I didn't fight back in this life, I'd end up mopping floors forever. Old Master Lou gestured for me to sit. Fine by me. I plopped down across from him with all the confidence in the world. I heard that when Brett gets drunk, you're the only one who can approach him. That's right. He hired me for that. I'm not some mistress. Do you know why he becomes like that when he drinks? What else could it be? PTSD, obviously. You think you know why he has it? Come on, I'm just the help. How would I know? Sir, if you have something to say, please say it. I may have a mouth that runs, but my brain isn't built for riddles. Old Lou launched into a story. He talked for a full hour. And he still wasn't done when the bodyguard rushed in. Miss Jenny, the young master is getting drunk again. He's looking for you. I stood up immediately and bowed to take my leave. But at the door, I paused, then turned back. Sir, I think I understand now. You wanted to tell me that when Brett was a child, he went through something devastating. That he trusted the wrong people, and lost his parents because of it. It left him deeply scarred, body and soul, and he hasn't trusted anyone since. But in that darkest hour, there was a girl who stood by his side. Who never betrayed him. Who even risked her life to protect him. And that girl is Melissa. The woman he's supposed to marry. You want me to disappear before their wedding, right? I understand. As you wish. As long as you help me leave quietly. I promise. Tonight will be the last time I take that drunken man home. As I stepped out of the lounge, the bodyguard looked constipated with concern. Miss Jenny, are you really leaving? I nodded. I made nearly $1 million in 3 months. That's enough to buy a house back home and raise a little puppy. I don't want to keep grinding in this big city anymore. Also, don't tell Brett. I refuse to be tied to his waistband for the rest of my life, playing maid. Dealing with a drunk is bad enough. But now I've got to deal with his brain-dead cousin calling me a mistress? Who signs up for that kind of job? Besides, isn't his white moonlight back in the country? They're getting married soon. Me staying here, it'd just be wrong. The bodyguard muttered, to be honest, the young master doesn't even like Miss Melissa. It's the old man who's been forcing the marriage. Not my problem, I said. Back in the banquet hall, Brett was in the middle of a drinking contest. His buddies spotted me and immediately started teasing. She's the one, right? The girl who's allowed near bro Brett when he's drunk. Tonight's the test. Let's get him properly wasted and find out if it's true. I sat down beside Brett and whispered, Young master, can't you drink a little less? One of his friends grinned. No can do. Do you even know who he's drinking against? That's Michael, the #1 hypnotherapist here and abroad. Bro Brett wants him to unlock a fuzzy memory. Something from when he was a kid. A traumatic event he's always avoided thinking about. He's tried other therapists, but none could reach it. Michael said he'll only try if Brett can outdrink him. I rolled my eyes. Wait. You guys didn't just set this up with Michael to test whether I'm the only one who can get near Brett when he's drunk, did you? Don't even bother denying it. I can tell from your faces, you're all troublemakers, every last one of you. Laughter erupted around the table. Everyone gave me a thumbs up. Ha ha ha. So what if you guessed it? Last time we sent you $500 and you still haven't performed for us. Time to settle your debt. I gave up pretending to care. Fine. I'm just a hardworking human tractor anyway. Every time, it was push, pull, drag, lift, all my strength just to get that drunkard home. The struggle was real. So I raided the snack table and fueled up. When I returned, there wasn't even a mosquito within 5 meters of Brett. Everyone turned to me with gleaming eyes, clearly waiting for a show. I asked, so, who won? Someone replied, Michael's totally passed out. Bro Brett's holding on, but he's drunk. Time for your magic. Well then, I said, cracking my knuckles, let's clear this debt. I strolled up to Brett like a glowing little fairy. He was slumped in a single sofa chair, hand pressed to his temple. His face was flushed, alcohol rising up his neck. I poked his forehead, hard. Get up. Time to go home. Just like walking a dog, I grabbed his arm and led him away. When Brett's not completely drunk, he gets like this, docile. Lets me pull him around without resistance. Around us, everyone rubbed their eyes in disbelief. Am I seeing things, or is bro Brett not even drunk? He must not be. How could he be this well-behaved otherwise? No way, I'm trying it. Maybe I can get close too. 1 second later, screams echoed through the banquet hall, Aya. Bro Brett, I was wrong. Don't kill me. Help me. Someone else, full of blind courage, tried to approach Brett, only to end up with a Swiss Army knife pressed to their throat. One wrong move, and it would have been a bloody mess. In a split second, I threw my arms around Brett's out-of-control frame and gently patted his back, like I was soothing a lion's mane. No violence, okay? Be good. Put the knife down. Brett, I swear, if you don't drop that knife, I'm going to be mad. Shick. Lightning fast, Brett shoved the knife back into the sheath on his belt. The towering drunk man swayed, unsteady on his feet, his eyes lowered in submission. He looked at me with the most pitiful, eager-to-please expression imaginable. My heart exploded from the contrast cuteness. Around us, gasps broke out, my God. Am I dreaming? What kind of ship is this? And where can I buy tickets? Please, just get married already. Even Brett's furious cousin screeched, what are you all swooning for? My brother belongs to Melissa. Not this shameless girl. But someone sang out cheerfully, la la la, not listening. Love or not, biology never lies. You don't get men. This is bone-deep love. Basking in the crowd's worshipful stares, I dragged my obedient puppy Brett out of the hall. I drove him home alone. And on the way, a wave of frustration came over me. Brett was asleep in the passenger seat, beautiful face tilted toward the window. Such devastating looks, but could I afford to fall for someone like him? My nose stung as I remembered the story his grandfather had told me. This infuriating man, he was pitiful too. Deep scars. A heart no doctor could mend. Once I'm gone, who'll take him home when he's drunk? What if he passes out on the street again, using a shared bike as a blanket? Ugh, snap out of it, Jenny. Get a grip. Tonight's the last job. After this, I have to go. Otherwise, I'm really afraid I'll start to fall for him too. A domineering CEO who only lets me near him when drunk? Who wouldn't be tempted? But his white moonlight is back. I refuse to degrade myself into the role of a mistress. The car pulled into the villa's driveway. I yanked Brett out of the car. He rested his head on my shoulder like an obedient puppy, mumbling that he felt sick and wanted to throw up. Serves you right, I snapped. Who told you to drink so much? Slurring his words, Brett murmured, I just wanted to remember. Remember what? That nightmare you've been trying so hard to forget? What if recalling it only makes things worse? His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at me. I want to marry you. Cough, what did you just say? No way. I must have imagined that. I'm definitely hallucinating. But then he spread his arms and wrapped them around me, his face nuzzling into the curve of my neck, clinging like a spoiled child. You smell so good. I remember this scent. I won't forget it again. As I half-dragged, half-carried him toward the front door, I rolled my eyes. Thanks. Just call me Ode Hillbilly. Why didn't you show up earlier, he mumbled. I didn't forget you. Cut the crap. We never met before, remember? What do you mean, I didn't show up? Finally, I managed to get him to the bedroom and shoved him onto the bed. But Brett pulled my arm, and I tumbled down with him. Get off me! I shouted. No, he said, holding on tight. He was fully drunk now, hugging me like a koala, rubbing his head against my neck. His breath was hot, dangerously hot, and his body heat was starting to burn. Hey, Brett. Get a grip. Look closely, I'm just the housemaid you hired, not your long-lost white moonlight. You're not a maid. Fine, then I'm your mom. Call me Mommy. Jenny, he whispered, I remember your name. And then, he kissed me. My brain exploded. Static filled my ears. I couldn't think, couldn't breathe. Wait, what scene are we playing now? Brett. Let go. Damn it, give me back my first kiss. I cried and shoved him, but I couldn't break free. That damn man had finally, officially sexually harassed me on the job. Old Mr. Liu had said someone would come to pick me up tonight. The person sent to get me had been waiting downstairs for ages, but I never came down. Then, God knows why, Melissa and Brett's cousin decided to storm into the bedroom. Perfect timing. Right in the middle of the act. Brett's cousin screamed every dirty word in the book and lunged at me. But Brett, in a drunken, overprotective haze, grabbed her by the neck and nearly choked her unconscious. Melissa and I had to work together just to pry his fingers off her throat. I shouted, if you don't want to die, get out. Frightened, she backed off with Melissa in tow. Standing at the door, she yelled, slut. And you say you're not a homewrecker? Melissa, how can you just stand there? That whore is sleeping with your man. Melissa looked composed as ever. Miss Jenny, you have 10 minutes to pack your things. We'll be waiting for you in the living room. I wiped my swollen lips furiously. For the first time, I had no comeback. And it was killing me. I wanted to kick the bastard straight into the Pacific Ocean. I stormed into the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face to calm down. By the time I came out, Brett was fast asleep on the bed. Annoyed, I tucked him in and muttered, I'm leaving, Brett. This is goodbye. Take care of yourself. Don't get drunk when I'm not around. He didn't hear a word. Damn man. When he wakes up tomorrow and finds me gone, who knows, maybe he'll launch a citywide manhunt. Who am I kidding? I'm just a maid. No way I'd leave a mark on someone like him. Jenny, don't kid yourself. I forced myself to snap out of it and packed my bags quickly. Turns out, in the past 3 months, I'd managed to collect quite a lot from Brett. One suitcase wasn't going to cut it. I dragged 3 full suitcases into the living room. Melissa and Brett's cousin were already waiting on the couch, ready to throw me out like yesterday's trash. Melissa wasn't as useless as the first time I met her. Sitting tall and poised, she said, "Miss Jenny, thank you for taking care of Brett these past few months. He and I are getting married soon. I was going to invite you to the wedding, but grandfather believes luxury spoils people. Better for you to leave now, before you forget your place. It's for your own good." I sneered, slinging my bag over my shoulder. "You done with your little speech? Great. I'm leaving." Without a glance back, I walked out like a queen. Goodbye, ridiculous life among the rich and famous. If I ever saw Brett in the news again, it'd probably be about his wedding to Melissa. It was much later that I found out Brett never married her. After I left, High City turned upside down. At first, he searched for me quietly. 2 months later, he went full rabid dog mode. He tracked me down to my hometown, and even had the audacity to occupy my bed. My mom called me in a panic. "Tell me honestly, did you scam him out of a fortune? He won't leave. He keeps saying if you can run, the temple can't. My girl, we can't afford bad karma." I rubbed my aching temples. "Just call the police. Dial 110. My mom huffed. "Your dad won't allow it. Turns out that boy plays a mean game of chess. Your dad's hooked. Every night they go head to head. In critical moments, men are never reliable. Your dad included. It's almost New Year's. How are you going to come home like this? Jenny, tell the truth, did you owe him money? Or, a debt of the heart? What a disaster. I should have faked my death when I had the chance." A few days later, Mom called again. "Sweetie, I think he's actually not bad. Maybe you should give it a shot? You can't avoid him forever. Sooner or later, you'll have to deal with it." I immediately grew suspicious. "What did he bribe you with, Mom?" "Well, nothing much. Don't lie. One bed can't produce 2 kinds of people. You and Dad are so easily bought. You've disappointed me. You're blocked for a month. No discussion." More days passed. No more calls from Mom, probably because I'd locked her out. That's when I saw a trending post about the Lou Corporation. Apparently, Brett had completely stripped his grandfather of power. Gossip forums exploded. Sources claimed, old Mr. Lou tried to brainwash Brett with the help of his hand-picked granddaughter-in-law Melissa, but after Brett's memories returned, he flipped the table. The posts were vague, tantalizingly frustrating. Curiosity got the better of me. I messaged Brett's bodyguard. "What happened? Spill it. Hey, you there?" He finally replied, "Just got out of jail. What? Long story. Pick up your phone. Fine. Curiosity kills, but I had to know. We ended up talking for an hour, just so I could hear the juiciest scoop. And that's when someone broke down my door. A tall figure burst in, broad shoulders, sharp face. I screamed, "You used the bodyguard to track my location?" Brett didn't even deny it. He strode toward me, scooped me up, and carried me out. Not stupid. But too late. You left without a word. Now your punishment is to stay with me forever. Ugh. I was dragged back to High City. And now, I was imprisoned in Brett's villa, punished, no less, by being banned from eating ice cream. Why? Because it was winter. So I rebelled in the only way I could. I ordered an entire hot pot spread. As I dipped slices of snowflake beef into the bubbling broth, I kept asking questions with my mouth full. "So, you're saying your grandfather and Melissa tricked you? That the girl who didn't abandon you in that dangerous moment, who even stepped forward to protect you, wasn't Melissa, but me? But I have absolutely no memory of that. Are you sure you're not confusing things?" Brett gave me a look and said with conviction, "No doubt about it. After beating Michael in a drinking contest, he put me through 2 months of deep hypnotherapy. Everything came back. I even asked your parents. They told me that 10 years ago, your whole family traveled to Jiangqing. You got lost during the trip, and they searched the entire region for you. When they finally found you, you had a high fever. After you woke up, you didn't remember anything." He looked at me with serious eyes. "Why don't we let Michael do deep hypnosis on you too?" I waved my hands frantically. "No way. If I forgot it, it was probably something too painful to remember. I'm not about to go digging it back up just for the drama." Although, I frowned a little. I think my mom did mention once that I got lost on a trip as a kid and almost wasn't found. "Alright then. Let's say I really did save your life. So what? You plan to repay kindness with captivity? Keeping me prisoner as your personal maid for life?" Brett pulled me into his lap. My cheeks instantly flushed, and I tried to push him away, but I couldn't budge him. What are you doing? Don't be a perv. But Brett wasn't listening. He tightened his arms around me, leaned closer, and asked with a straight face, "Did you, maybe steal a kiss from me when I was drunk?" "Bull. You're the one who forced a kiss on me." He smirked. "How did it taste?" "It was, alright. I mean, ugh, no. It was awful." But in truth, I'd secretly replayed that kiss in my head way too many times over the past few months. Brett held my chin. "Then should I give you something that tastes even better?" "Don't you, heh." That jerk. He did it again. Help. I was going to lose this battle. My defenses were crumbling. I still remembered how cool and carefree I'd been the night I left High City. But after I left, every day felt unsettled and uneasy. To distract myself, I took the 100,000 yuan I'd earned from Brett and went traveling, across grasslands, over mountains, to the sea. I thought that would help. But despite never even dating him, it somehow felt like I'd had my heart broken. Later, my mom told me Brett had shown up at our house looking for me. And instead of feeling annoyed, I felt a little flattered. But I reminded myself, Brett would eventually marry his so-called white moonlight. So I couldn't let my hopes run wild. Then came the headlines: Brett rejected the marriage, and even took down Grandpa Lou. That's when the itch returned. I shamelessly called the bodyguard, hoping to get the latest gossip on Brett and Melissa's situation. Big mistake. I lost the upper hand, and maybe my heart too. Now what? Cough cough. The bodyguard barged in, rescuing me from the stormy moment. "Young master, sorry to interrupt. Miss Emma has arrived." Brett's cousin walked in reluctantly. I immediately tried to push Brett away. But he still held me tightly in his arms, like he had nothing to fear. "What are you so nervous about?" he said with a magnetic voice. "It's not like we're doing something shameful. Maybe you're not ashamed. I don't have your thick skin, alright? Why'd you call her here, just to watch me make a fool of myself?" To my surprise, Brett's cousin didn't throw a tantrum this time. She walked over with red-rimmed eyes and actually apologized. "Jenny, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said all those things. It was all my fault. Can you forgive me?" "Wow, is the sun rising from the west today?" I turned to Brett. "Can I say no?" His cousin flinched, her tears streaming down. She did look pretty pitiful. But unfortunately for her, I'm not the tender-hearted type. "Call me Vicious Queen Jenny." Brett smiled. "You can do whatever you want." "In that case, no, I don't forgive her." His cousin collapsed with a dramatic sob. "Melissa was sent to Africa for volunteer work. She's not allowed back for 10 years. I don't want to go. Jenny, please forgive me. I'll be your dog for 10 years if that's what it takes." I raised a brow. "Then bark for me." Woof. Woof woof. She really did it. This girl could bend and stretch like no other. Whatever. We didn't have some grand feud anyway. And every time she picked on me, I'd already gotten my payback. "Fine," I said. "Remember, 10 years. You're my dog now. You do what I say." She lifted her head and looked at me like I was her savior. To this day, I still don't know her full name. Whatever. From now on, she's just my dog. After she left, overflowing with gratitude, Brett gave me a look full of meaning. 10 years? What? I shot back. "Feel sorry for your cousin?" But Brett honed in on the key point. "She's my blood relative. If she's your dog, then doesn't that make me your dog too?" "Wait, what?" "Oops. Did I just insult him by accident?" Brett grinned and went in for the kill. "So you're accepting me as your loyal puppy? 10 years isn't enough, I want to serve you for a lifetime." Ugh. He really knew how to drop those cheesy lines. And worst of all, I liked it. But I wasn't about to show it on my face. I kept my expression cold. "Ha. As if I'd dare, young master." Then Brett suddenly said, completely serious, "Not your maid. Your queen. I've never dated anyone before. But from now on, I want to learn how to chase you properly. Is it too late?" His gaze was too intense, too sincere. It made my heart flutter. I couldn't even joke anymore. I thought back to the way he'd only let me near him when he was drunk, how much trust that must have taken. That was kind of irresistible. I cleared my throat, nervous. "Well, I guess it's not impossible. I'll give you a chance. 1. But you have to promise me, less drinking. And no more getting drunk. If you do, I'll make you kneel on a washboard." Brett wrapped his arms around me and laughed. "Deal." One day, I got a call from one of Brett's friends. "Sis-in-law, come quick. Brett's drunk again, he's at Starlight Bar." Excuse me? Did this man just treat his promise like a fart in the wind? I jumped into the Maserati he bought me and sped over like lightning. The moment I looked up at the sign, I froze. Wasn't this the same bar where I first asked Brett for help that night? Wow. The world really is one giant circle. Back then, he absolutely refused to get drunk in public, terrified of giving his friends something to laugh about. And now? Was he finally catching up on the embarrassment? I rolled up my sleeves. I was ready for war. But before I even reached the entrance, I saw several people standing outside, lined up in perfect formation, 3 per row. In unison, they shouted, "Sis-in-law is here. Sis-in-law, you're amazing. Sis-in-law, please, this way." I stopped in my tracks and gave them a suspicious glare. What is this? Why the dramatic welcome? I have reasonable doubts you're all planning something shady. No way, they quickly protested. You're Brett's one and only. His heart's most precious treasure. You don't know, sis-in-law, when you left Brett without a word, the man went totally off the rails. And us? We were CP fans. We had just started shipping you too, and then boom, heartbreak. I rubbed my nose, still skeptical. Something smelled fishy ahead. But honestly? Brett's buddies had always been our biggest CP fans. They probably wouldn't dare mess with me. So, I took a deep breath and stepped inside the bar. To my surprise, the usually rowdy and packed venue was unusually quiet. There, under a soft spotlight at the bar's mini stage, sat Brett. A guitar in his hands, strumming and singing. And clearly, very much not drunk. My heart skipped a beat. Wait a second, this isn't just some drunken night. Oh God. Was this a proposal setup? Oh no, I forgot to do my makeup. And my hair, did I even wash it? I instinctively wanted to bolt. But then I heard Brett sing, "Oh, baby, you were the light that lit up my world for one brief, glorious moment. In a sea of strangers, only you, my Jenny, remain unforgettable. On that drunken night, you were my most beautiful chance encounter." He sang an original love song he had written himself, and his eyes, those dark, unwavering eyes, found me through the crowd. Everyone around us started cheering, egging me to go up. My face was burning, ears red, I was mortified. Brett set down his guitar, picked up the mic, and slowly walked toward me, singing as he moved. Then, right in front of me, he dropped to one knee. From that angle, he looked up at me with pure sincerity. He sang the final lyric, "Oh, baby, the only girl I've ever truly trusted, will you marry me?" From his pocket, he took out a gorgeous engagement ring. His friends were already chanting like a choir, "Say yes. Say yes. Say yes." It was so cheesy. So awkward. But I still burst into tears like a spineless idiot. I held out my hand. He slid the beautiful ring onto my finger. Then he stood, cupped the back of my head gently, and kissed me, long, deep, and full of emotion. And in that hazy moment, a distant memory stirred. A blood-soaked boy, trembling in my arms, once looked up and asked for my name. "I'm Jenny," I told him. "The kind you'll never forget." He smiled weakly and whispered, "I'll remember. I won't forget." Looking back, I never expected the man I once blackmailed in a bar would become the love of my life. He chased me like a fool, sang cheesy love songs, and even called himself my dog. But now, every time I look at the ring on my finger, I realize, maybe I've always belonged to him too.